Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and let's just get right into this review. So this episode picks up where the last one left off, where Kali and Gretchen were getting into a very heated back and forth with each other that ended up starting to turn physical. What happened was Gretchen and Kali ended up going outside to have a conversation one-on-one away from everybody else, and Gretchen started, talking in an aggressive tone a little bit because she was drunk, and she started questioning Kali about whether or not she's really her friend, because she said that some of the other girls have been telling her that Kali wasn't really her friend. So Kali ends up getting really annoyed by Gretchen questioning her friendship, and if I was Kali, I would have been annoyed about that too. I don't know if I would have let it turn physical because of that, but I would have been annoyed by that as well, because why is Gretchen listening to a bunch of girls who don't like her tell her that Kali's not really her friend? I mean, until Kali actually does something to show her that she's not really her friend, then I don't think she should be believing what the other girls are saying. But while the two of them are kind of pushing and pulling on each other and they're yelling back and forth, Gretchen ends up letting the N-word slip out of her mouth again, and at this point Kali is frustrated by Gretchen constantly saying the N-word because she already defended her for it before, and now she feels like it's undefendable. So Kali starts telling Gretchen that she needs to stop saying the word because this time she's not going to defend her, and now she's starting to get offended by Gretchen saying it because Gretchen has already apologized for saying the N-word multiple different times, and now she's still saying the word. So at this point, things are starting to get physical between Kali and Gretchen. Gretchen swings on Kali a few times. Kali definitely mushes, Gretchen in the face a few times. She's swinging on Gretchen. But because they didn't actually get into a physical fight with each other, like they did not actually end up fighting, you can tell that they really didn't want to fight. You can tell that they like each other. I don't know if they have a genuine friendship. I honestly don't think that they do. I think that the only reason why they're friends is because they're both in a house with girls that don't really like either one of them, so they bonded off of that. However, on the show and during this season, for right now, we'll say that they're friends. And so I feel like because they built some type of bond with each other and they know that they need each other in the house, they don't want to fight each other, and that was very clear. At some point, the fighting between Kali and Gretchen ends up coming to a stop, and the two of them end up going their separate ways so they can cool off and really calm down. And Kali ends up going to have a conversation with Gretchen once she does cool off, and the two of them are trying to talk things out, and they actually do end up talking things out. They knew that they were both being very aggressive with each other, and they knew that things shouldn't have gone as far as it did. And I was okay with them making up after fighting, only because they're not the first group of friends who have gotten into a fight or a disagreement with each other and then became friends again right after. So I wasn't really surprised that they were able to make up. Now at this point, Jela and Scotty end up running downstairs to see what's going on between Kali and Gretchen, and they start questioning Kali and Gretchen's friendship and saying that because the two of them fought and they put their hands on each other, that they don't have a real friendship. And my thing is, I don't know why Jela and Scotty are the ones to say this to Gretchen and Kali, because didn't they get into numerous fights with Natalie? I mean, we saw a physical fight between Scotty and Natalie last season when they were in Jamaica. Like, Natalie was definitely putting her hands on Scotty and talking to her all types of crazy. And then we saw Jela and Natalie have a very heated back and forth on social media where they said a lot of nasty things to each other. So I don't think that they should be talking about whether somebody's real friends or not. And because Scotty is so dumb and she lets people put batteries in her back, she literally let Natalie and Jela put a battery in her back to go downstairs and tell Gretchen that she wanted her to go home. Even though I feel like if Scotty and Jela really wanted Gretchen to go home, then when they were voting people out the house, instead of voting for Dia and Slim, they should have voted for Gretchen to leave, because I'm okay if Gretchen ends up leaving the house, because at this point she's not really a part of the experience. They never let her around the other girls. We don't get to know her at all because she's constantly having to fight because she keeps saying the N-word. So I'm okay with Gretchen going home. However, if they really wanted her to go home, why didn't they say something to her the day that they were voting everybody out the house? So Scotty starts telling Gretchen that she wants her to leave the house, and when Gretchen starts asking her why she should have to leave, Scotty started saying that nobody got to know who she is as a person, and because she's not really a part of the baddie experience. Now, I agree that she's not a part of the baddie experience. However, they should have said something when it was the time for them to vote people out of the house, and because they didn't, I'm not really taking them serious at this moment. Now, Gretchen ends up asking Scotty what she's questioning her for, and that's when Scotty starts feeling like she's being disrespected, which I don't know how she felt disrespected by, Gretchen saying what she said, because at the end of the day, Scotty was the one that came downstairs and was being kind of aggressive with her words to Gretchen. And so Scotty comes out of nowhere and she swings on Gretchen and she kind of punches her in her chin a little bit. I thought that it didn't connect, but then I watched it in slow motion and you can see that part of her knuckle actually connected to Gretchen's chin, although it didn't look like it phased Gretchen at all. It didn't look like it hurt, and it looked like there was no power behind the punch. So Gretchen and Scotty kind of start fighting. I don't really consider it a fight because it looked more like a tussle to me, and security was holding them, so it really didn't look much like a fight, and it really wasn't a fight that I cared about because I thought that it was uncalled for and unnecessary for the two of them to fight in the first place. But Kali ends up yelling to try to calm the situation down, and she wants to know why Jela and Scotty are questioning them and why the two of them came downstairs and are being so aggressive with Gretchen. So Jela starts yelling about how she wants Gretchen to go home, and at some point she looked like she was getting ready to fight Gretchen, but Kali just would not let it happen. At one point, Jela tried to jump up and swing on Gretchen, and Kali kind of caught her a little bit and stopped her from hitting Gretchen because she just didn't understand why they came downstairs so aggressive, getting involved in a situation that had absolutely nothing to do with them. And Jela starts saying how Gretchen keeps saying the N-word and she's not okay with it. And the thing about it is I don't think that most people are okay with Gretchen saying the N-word. However, to me, Kali was right with what she said in her confessional. In Kali's confessional, she said that Jela acts like a bully, which she does act like a bully. To me, she was a bully when she was on the Bad Girls Club too, and that's the reason why I wasn't a fan of her on that season. And I really didn't feel bad for her for what happened to her and the twins on their season either, because they were really big mean girls and I just wasn't really feeling them that much. So Jela is a bully to me. She definitely is. And Kali said in her confessional that she feels like if Jela has an issue with Gretchen saying the N-word, then she should have an issue with Anna and Biggie saying the word too. And I agree with her on that. I feel like if she feels like Gretchen shouldn't say it, which I agree, I don't think Gretchen should be saying the word, but I also don't think that Anna and Biggie should be saying it either. I know some people will say that Biggie should be able to say it because physically she looks like she's black. However, she said in a recent video that she's not black and she doesn't consider herself black. So if she doesn't identify as black, then she should not be able to say the word. She says it more than a lot of the black girls on the show do as well. That's the weird thing to me. The people who are not black on this show are the ones that say the N-word the most, and I don't know why they feel comfortable saying that, because me, as somebody that has a black mother and a white father, I don't even say the word because it just wouldn't be comfortable for me to say something like that. It just wouldn't be. Now at this point, Kali and Jela are yelling at each other as if they're going to end up fighting, and everybody comes outside to watch this fight that's going down. And the thing about it is that Kali and Jela were doing too much talking for me. Like, it was getting on my nerves, to be honest with you. I kept sucking my teeth and rolling my eyes just waiting for this scene to be over because they were just doing too much yelling and not enough fighting for me. Like, if you're going to keep yelling back and forth, you might as well fight. Otherwise, just shut up because nobody's going to do anything. They were both stalling to run up on each other, and I really didn't understand why, but at some point, Kali ends up running up on Jela, and I do think that Jela ends up getting at least one hit in on Kali. I don't know what this was, though, because to me, it wasn't really a fight. I think Jela did connect a hit to Kali, but other than that, it wasn't a fight, and it lasted like 2 seconds. It was really lame, to be honest with you. I thought that the fight between the two of them was going to be a lot more entertaining, but it really wasn't. And at this point, Gretchen is yelling stuff out to Jela because she's annoyed that Jela keeps trying to fight her and Kali, and that she even came downstairs inserting herself in their business that had nothing to do with her. And obviously, Rolly feels like she's not getting enough shine at this point. So she starts saying in her confessional that she feels like Gretchen keeps yelling because she feels like she can't be touched. I don't know why Rolly feels that way because Gretchen has literally been getting touched every single episode that she's included in. Like, anytime we see Gretchen, she's in a fight with somebody. So I don't think that Gretchen feels like she can't be touched. She pretty much knows that she can be touched. But all of a sudden, Rolly ends up running up out of nowhere and she sneaks Gretchen from the side. She starts hitting Gretchen all up in her head. And that's when Kali comes running from the side and she ends up snatching off Rolly's wig. And I like that Kali was there for Gretchen because even though I'm not a fan of Gretchen, I still don't think that she should be ganged up on by multiple different people. And I think that if Kali's saying that she's cool with Gretchen, I think that it's right that she's standing on business for somebody that she calls a friend. Now, Gretchen gets so mad that Rolly snuck her out of nowhere because at first she didn't even know who was fighting her because she didn't know who Rolly was at first because Rolly just came out of nowhere. So Gretchen ends up running up on Rolly from behind and she starts pounding Rolly in the head and security ends up snatching her up. But I was glad that security at least let Gretchen get a hit in on Rolly because Rolly had no business inserting herself in a situation that had nothing to do with her. She had zero reasons to put her hands on Gretchen. But at one point, things were getting a little bit too intense, and I think Gretchen was a little bit too drunk because she ends up trying to pick up a rock and she tries to throw it over there where Rolly and the rest of the girls are standing at. But security quickly snatched her up and did not allow her to throw a rock, and I'm glad that they did not allow that to happen because somebody could have gotten seriously hurt, and sometimes things go a little bit too far on this show. Now, after all this fighting goes down, they have to go to a club appearance. And the thing about it is I think it's so funny how they all get into these huge fights, but then when they go to the club, they act like nothing ever happened. Now, before they end up leaving for the club, all the girls end up going into the room where Anna is, and they fill her in on all the drama that just went down right before they have to leave to the club. And they were telling her some false information that Gretchen just came out of nowhere and snuck Rolly when that really wasn't how it went. Rolly snuck her first and then she snuck her back. So I'm confused as to why they were telling the story the wrong way. But Anna really didn't know how to feel about going to the club and possibly running into Mariah because obviously the two of them are going to end up getting into a physical altercation when they see each other because obviously Anna ended up getting into a physical fight with Mariah Lynn's mother. And my thing is, I can understand why Mariah Lynn would want to fight Anna because if somebody put their hands on my mother, even if my mother started it, I'm still going to want to fight you because you touched my mom. However, Anna had every right to defend herself. If Mariah Lynn's mother and her aunt attacked her first, she has every right to defend herself because I'm pretty sure if the roles were reversed and it was Anna's family that attacked Mariah, she would have ended up fighting them too. Now, when they arrive to the club, Tinkerbella is turning all the way up. She's having a really good time. She's dancing with everybody and just really being the life of the party. I'm not that big of a fan of Tinkerbella because outside of her fights with Diamond the Body, we don't really know too much about her, so I'm not a fan of her right now. However, I don't think that she was doing anything wrong at the club, but having a really good time, and obviously Natalie noticed this, so Natalie ends up taking her Baddies chain off of her neck and putting it on Tinkerbella, and obviously Tinkerbella is very excited about this, so she gets on the microphone and she starts talking about how happy she is to get the Baddies chain, and for some reason Meatball got upset about this. Can somebody explain to me why Meatball was upset because Tinkerbella was happy that she got a Baddies chain from Natalie? Like, that's really weird to me how she got upset about that. Like, I just was so confused by that. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Caribbean. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.